remains one of the most resilient economies amid the pandemic. Here are some facts. China has become the first major economy to register positive growth in 2020, and the country's GDP is expected to exceed 100 trillion yuan, or about 15 trillion US dollars, and per capita GDP over 10,000 US dollars. This has prompted some economists to raise their forecast for China's growth for 2021.
We have a relatively positive view about the 2021 economic outlook for China. Our forecast is 8% year-on-year growth for this year, compared with around 2.1 to 2.3% annual growth last year.
China pursues a new development pattern of dual circulation, which allows domestic and overseas markets to reinforce each other. What role will consumption play in China's economic development in 2021?
Consumption's role will be bigger this year, in my expectation. Part of this, I think, is cyclical. It's an area that was hit very hard last year by the pandemic. So I think especially service areas have a lot more room to recover. We're talking about travel, entertainment, education, and so on. So that's part of the recovery story. Even from the long-term perspective, the consumption share in GDP has been rising over the years. I think this trend will continue.
The investment and export will continue to drive growth in the first half of the year, but we expect consumer spendings and public spendings to play a bigger role in the second half of China's economic growth of this year. On average, I think around 50–60% of China's annual growth will come from consumer spending, and this is a bigger share compared with last year, but it's comparable with pre-pandemic situation.
China is committed to further opening to trade and investment. I think going forward with these agreements, trade and investment, they will deepen regional integration and specialization. I think that help in terms of access to markets for not just firms, but also consumers, but also expose companies to international competition. Through international investment, China also benefit from technological innovation and help to improve its manufacturing capacity.
2021 is the year that will see China formulate and begin to implement the 14th Five-Year Plan for national economic and social development. With a population of 1.4 billion and a middle-income group exceeding 400 million, an increasingly open China will further add impetus into global economic recovery and growth.